I've always been interested in missions, so when I saw Heartlight, I felt like it was an opportunity to spend a year somewhere doing something impactful. And you don't have opportunity to do that in many other positions full-time, not 24/7.
I was excited to figure out what all this was going to entail and what the Lord really had in mind for me.
I was in shock. You don't see facilities like this. I mean, you step on property and it's beautiful.
When you first move down here, the first few weeks, the first few months, there's a big transition going from living this life where I could do whatever I wanted to being in-house for 5 days a week. As a parent, basically, as a counselor, all these things together to 7 teenage boys. So it took some time.
I came into this job thinking I was a patient person, but that really challenged that, and I really looked back at myself and thinking, wow, I guess I'm really not as patient as I thought.
So often we're going to challenge kids on a daily basis to address the things that get in the way in life. And just because we're 21 to 29-year-old staff doesn't mean we've dealt with those things. It just might mean that we handle them a little bit better than they do.
The kids that come here, anything and everything bad that you can be called, they've been called it. They're told that they're wrong, they're told that they're bad, they're told that they're stupid, they're told that they're stoners. For us to help them change their perception of themselves, that all happens from a relationship.
Coolest thing is getting to see them come from a spot where they hate their family. They want nothing to do with them. They hope that, their car crashes on the way home. But then you see, 6 months into it, all those trials, all those hard times, the tears, the fears, everything transitions into them looking out the window, excited to see their parents, ready to see them, running at them, hugging them, and then at the end of the day saying, I love you.
People want to come here and be with the kids because that's the heart that I think everyone that comes here has, is that we want to be with kids. We want to help the people that if I look back at my childhood, I wish I would have had someone standing there saying, hey, you're okay. Let's figure this out. Let's walk through this. I'm with you. I don't care if you need to stumble and fall. I'm right there with you. I'll fall with you. We'll get up. We keep moving. House staff, people are standing, willing to get in the way and say, I love you enough to stop you. I love you enough for a time to let you hate me. And that's okay.
I was telling all the girls goodnight and doing face checks where you check in and make sure everyone's in their bed. And there was one girl who I've had the hardest time with, very rugged and really rough. And as I closed the bedroom door, I heard, good night, Brooke, I love you. And I was like, whoa, what's that? And I was kind of like, is that her? Did she say that? And then I opened the door again and she said it a second time just to make sure that I had heard it.
On my interview day, I came and I met a kid who was at the intake house. He never thought that he was gonna have a relationship with his dad. He came from a very rough background of drugs, fighting with parents, some police involvement. He identified as a bad kid. Over the course of the year that he was here, I think through the love that the staff showed and the love that he was then able to see that his parents were giving, he was able to change his perception of himself. He was able to build a relationship with his dad. On his graduation day, I got to watch his dad stand up, tell him that he loves him, and give him a hug and say that he's proud of him for the first time. That's the best part of this job, is helping them see how good they are.
There's a boy he's one of those boys that he'd like to push everyone's buttons. He'd like to stir the pot. He'd like to be that ringleader of all the chaos. And he was angry. And he says to me, Jason, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you wake up every single day and deal with me? He's like, I'm not lovable. I'm not a good kid. See, if I met me now, who I am now, 5 years ago, I'd hate myself. See, I don't like who I am, but I'm just angry, and you deal with me every single day. How do you do that? And I said, man, I have my own issues too, and God does the same thing for me. Every time I sin, every time I mess up, every time I do anything wrong, God stands there with open arms and says, I forgive you. I'll take you back. I'll never forget that, because that boy, he started changing after that night.
Whenever a kid kind of moves further up along in the program and they And they start to see that they're changing and they kind of want it for themselves. And at that point, whenever they actually do see change in themselves, it's like halfway through the program, it just clicks for them. And they see things totally different. After you see that click in their head, you think, all right, we can get somewhere. It's gonna be hard still, but we're gonna be able to get somewhere now. You kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's hard to kind of take a step back out and see what we're doing until, you take a moment like a graduation and you get to hear this kid say for themselves, if it wasn't for Heartlight, I'd be dead right now, or I would be in jail, or I wouldn't know who my family was. When they themselves are saying at graduation that Heartlight has saved my life. And that really gets me emotionally because we're just a part in that, but to be a part in that is so rewarding.
This community is such a tight-knit community of people that are all running the same race and that all have the same passion and that all have the same heart. And I think that's why at the end of the day, we can all say, we're okay. Today, we're okay. We're good. And we can make it. Makes it a little bit easier to bear, those bad days. And then the good days are just so much fun. To actually be able to enjoy what you do and realize that there's days that I get paid to mountain bike, I get paid to wakeboard, and then there's the day that I get paid to chase this kid through the woods because he's having a bad day. That's okay. I think there's part of that community makes those little tough spots well worth it.
We work together on a daily basis. We are challenged together. We live life together. But on top of that, there's staff here that are going to pick you up. And that really just allows you to feel like this is a home. And it's not just a job.
If you know that you have a greater purpose, you know that there's a calling out there for you and you don't know what it is, Heartlight might be the answer. If you want to help impact and change another person's life, Heartlight's the answer. If you want to grow and become a better person, Heartlight is the answer.
Come in with an open heart and a willingness to learn. Not just from the staff that are going to teach you, but a willingness to learn from the kids about who you are as a person and about who you want to be and about who God's called you to be, because you don't come here without a calling.
It's definitely a sacrifice, but also it's such a blessing as far as what other time in life will you have opportunity to pour into children like this, one-on-one, day-to-day.
It gives you that life-on-life experience. It gives you that one-on-one. It gives you, that perspective of how Christ is working in your life and be able to show that to those kids. You've got to be active. You've got to be ready for some challenges. You've got to put your pride aside and say, this is hard, but I've got to trust the process of what the Lord has called me to do.
Pray about it. This is not a walk in the park. This is not a camp. This is an experience of a lifetime. This is a chance for you to grow deeper as a person, in your faith, in relationships. This is a place of growth. This is a ministry. This is doing God's work.
You're gonna have your hard times. You're gonna really be tested. You're gonna be challenged, but you're not ever gonna find a job like this, ever. You're gonna learn a lot about who you are as a person. You're gonna learn what true relationships are. You're gonna have a lot of them, and you're just gonna feel loved and supported your whole way through, even though it's hard. You're gonna get through it because you have this awesome place called Heartlight.